culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Out at the park, do something, outside beautiful and fun to celebrate the beautiful weather. Y'all know me and my son. I love, love, love sunny weather. So nice to see all of y'all here for today's morning report. We've got Ramster, we've got Jody, Mrs. H, Ronnie, Jenny, Nikki, Michelle, Venetia, Tadisha, Ramster, Jenny, Milan, Hamlet's Princess, Sky, Kahara, Acacia. So nice to see y'all. Jessica, Monique, Islay, Cassie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are y'all here? You guys can hear me now, right? Okay, y'all are freaking me out. We've also got Gala, Chocolate Drop, Karina. Welcome, welcome, Teresa, everybody. So nice to see y'all here on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Y'all, I'm kind of like stressed today because I think I've been talking to you guys about this. You guys know that I am planning to move down south because, as you can see, I love the sunlight and I've been missing it a lot here, right? And I'm waiting on my condo to sell back in Ottawa, and it's taking forever. It's been on the market for 89 days. As of tomorrow, it'll have been on the market for 90 days. The job market has taken a huge hit. The government is like the biggest employer for people in Ottawa, and it has just, laid off a lot of people. Then, of course, your president has been threatening my country with like war or becoming a 51st state. So it really has been throwing off the timing of everything. And it is bothering me so much. So if you guys can please send some good wishes to get this thing sold, that would be very much appreciated. Oh my goodness gracious. I was not expecting it to take this long. Hi, Kaichi, Angela, Karina, Lala, Chanel, Cassie, Teresa. So nice to have y'all here, Hamlet's Princess and everybody. And yes, I'm in Paris, but I want to move down south because we don't get enough sun up here and I'm sick of it. And hi, Melinda. So we've got a lot to talk about on today's morning report. Outside of that, we're going to talk about the Chrisley family. So as you guys are aware, Todd and Julie Chrisley got released from prison. They received their presidential pardons from Donald J. Trump, and they were photographed yesterday on their first outings outside of prison. And then we've got former Bravo Real Housewives of New York star Leah McSweeney and her lawsuit against Cohen that is still moving forward in court. I've got some new updates about that. And Amber Kung Fu Portwood is clapping back against her Teen Mom co-star Ashley, who read her for filth for just spending her days harassing her daughter Leah on TikTok and never really getting up off of her damn couch either. And, Amber decided to say, you know what? I heard somebody said I never leave my couch. Well, here I am outside. We're going to get into that. I have the video clip courtesy of Teen Mom Shade Room. And then I have an update on Javi and Lauren's house. The U.S. Sun got their records for the new house that they purchased, and they shared the photos, and I wanted to share them with you guys as well and talk to you a little bit about where they're at over there in Virginia Beach. The judge who was presiding over Nathan's case said that she thinks that Nathan is going to delete somebody. She didn't say she thinks. She says that this is a guarantee. Given Nathan's way of behaving, over the past several years, strangling every woman in sight. She says, I am going to give you the maximum that I can give you right now, and I think that it's unfortunate for her and society that it's not like a life sentence or anything like that, or 10, 20, 30 years. However, she shot down all of his attorney's attempts to get him a lighter sentence or get him a slap on the wrist. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Mackenzie McKee and her pregnancy update. Last time we spoke about her, she was suffering from preeclampsia, and she says that things still aren't going too well. And she's quite upset that they are not trying to just perform a C-section to get the children out of her so that she can get back to healing. Cardi B's trifling estranged husband Offset, who has cheated on her throughout the duration of their marriage, is now seeking spousal support. And you already know I got a lot to say about that. What the hell? And then we're finally going to wrap things up with a Diddy update as well. Okay. Lots to say about Diddy, and we're going to get into all of that at the end of today's morning report. Per usual, if you guys find yourselves enjoying today's episode of the Morning Report, please do not hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you enjoy my content, okay? And by the way, thanks for you guys sending the good vibes. Please continue. Thank you so much. By the way, I see someone here saying, and thanks, Guy. I see you, BB, saying she's here for her first live. Hey, bro, nice to see you. I see you, BB. Nice to see you. And good morning, Katie. Cotton Candy Katie, nice to see you. And I'm saying that because of your beautiful cotton candy pink hair. Guys, why don't we get into the Chrisleys just to kick things off, shall we? So Todd and Julie Chrisley, they got their presidential pardons and they decided to go out there and make the most of their freedom. It's kind of funny to me that Julie, the first thing she did was head to a luxury butcher to prepare some food for her family, right? She said, I have not eaten well in so long. That's all I care about right now is having a good home-cooked meal around the table with my family, right? With my husband, with my children. Meanwhile, her husband, he said, I want to go to Nordstrom Rack. That is just so Todd, right? I'm sorry, but Todd is funny. Todd is a very funny guy. And we talked about this in last week's morning report, how Lifetime is doing some sort of a reality show about the family, and it's already started filming, and these two are supposed to be like dialing in from prison from time to time, and I believe that they did shoot some of those scenes as well already. However, now with them being out, it's going to be even more exciting for the viewers, right? Like, surprise, the bitch is back kind of a deal. So listen, I'm going to be tuning into this. Y'all know I unfortunately am a Todd Chrisley stan. I think he's absolutely hilarious. Y'all know this, right? So I'm going to be tuning in, and I think I want to recap that with you guys. Did you guys ever watch Chrisley Knows Best? Because I personally did not watch that. I only know Todd Chrisley through Wendy Williams, because I have always been a diehard Wendy Williams watcher. And when he started coming around on the show, sharing his like advice and whatnot and talking about celebrity gossip, I became instantly obsessed with him. Not enough to watch the family show, but like just to be obsessed with him personally. So I am truly looking forward to this iteration of the show to learn a little bit more about his criminal case and everything like that. Wow, we've got a super sticker from Vivian. Vivian, thank you so much for your super sticker. That is so nice of you. Thank you. So you guys, I'm really hoping that you're going to be tuning into this new documentary kind of series about their life out, coming behind bars and then coming out as well. Ronnie says they're going to reoffend. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I think that maybe now that they know where they went wrong or how they got caught slipping or whatever, maybe this time they're going to keep the kids out of the loop on what it is that they're doing. Because wasn't it their own kids who really dropped the dime and helped the feds kind of zero in on them, right? I think that it had something to do with a tape. This is what the streets are saying. They're saying that and this story is so creepy. I still cannot wrap my mind around why a father and a brother would be taunting one of his children with a tape. So apparently Lindsay Chrisley had some sort of an intimate tape, and the brother and the father were harassing her about it or trying to hold it over her head. And she said, oh, you think you're gonna harass me? Let me go make your life a living hell. And so apparently she went and dropped the dime. And then apparently one of the brothers also got pissed off at the father and then went and dropped the dime too or something like that. Listen, we're going to get to know all of this and more in their show, and I'm really looking forward to it. And that's the thing, Ali, as soon as he came out, he had his like head in a bag and everything. So you guys could check this out on Savannah's Instagram. But basically, he was doing his shopping in Nordstrom or whatever, and then he had this bag covering his head, and then they wanted to do some sort of like a decoy car, sort of like the whole thing is a damn mess. He is such a diva. He is such a damn diva, that Todd Chrisley. God bless. And here's the thing, y'all. Yes, what they did was terrible, right? But when you look at them, what is it, cheating on their taxes or whatever, versus somebody like Nathan Griffith, who we're going to get into later, who has been strangling several women, and he keeps getting off with simple like, oh, 1 year jail sentence or probation or suspended jail. Like, you know, the difference between the crimes is night and day. Yet for Todd and Chrisley, they got 12 and 7 years, and this man is still free every year to go off and strangle more women. Then you've got dog killer Dave, right? Who has been terrorizing women, children, and small animals for pretty much his entire adult life, still gets off. You've got Machete Amber, still gets off, right? So, you know, I'm sorry, but taxes versus, you know, DV in front of children, machete slashes, strangulation of several women and whatnot, right? Like, there are just so many things here that I think could have deserved those 7 and 12 years. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but this is not something that outrages me as much as the criminals in the Teen Mom universe who should be put away for much longer. I'm just saying. By the way, since I'm on this kick of growing my hair, I'm like looking at her hair like, wow, it's crazy how much your hair can grow in 2 years. So the gray is like the hair that she's been growing since she got locked up. Like, that is a lot of hair growth. You go, Julie. I have never seen her with anything but like bleach blonde hair. So when this photo first came across my timeline, I did not even recognize her at all. And, you know, this is probably something that's going to piss her off, right? Because they're very mega, but I actually low-key thought it was Kamala Harris. I said, Kamala Harris, what happened, girl? Where did you go? Like, what happened, girl? Vivian says, oh my God, Grace, no, it was a lie that WOACB made up. Oh, that was listen, T, okay, thanks for clocking that. Because that thing is what has been spreading around forever, right? So that's what I thought was the truth here, but damn, come to find out. Katie says, why can't they lock up Nathan? Exactly, right? So when Nathan listen, Nathan got only a 12-month sentence, a 12 to 14 or something like that. And he's on his 4th strangulation. I'm not going to cry about these people, you know, screwing over the feds. And listen, for you Americans, the feds have been screwing you over every day since you were born. So too bad, so sad. Why don't we get into the next story, y'all? We got to get into the Bravo verse. Okay, so as y'all know, Leah McSweeney is suing Andy Cohen and Bravo Network as a whole. She says that as part of some new iterations to her lawsuit, she's claiming that Andy directly requested or encouraged Housewives to publicly slam her after she filed her lawsuit against him. And so she actually names names as well, right? So she says that some of the women in the Housewives Bravoverse universe that were used by Andy to slander her in public as revenge include Kyle, Luann, Kandi, Melissa, Dorinda, Margaret Josephs, Heather Dubrow, and Lisa Vanderpump. And so she also provides certain examples, right? So, for example, when Lisa Vanderpump was on The Talk, asked about the situation, Lisa said, quote, I'm on Andy's side. When Heather Dubrow was asked about this, or when she spoke about this on her podcast, she said that Leah should not be suing Bravo. She should be thanking Bravo. And Heather also went as far as to say that she was irritated by Leah's lawsuit, which I think is weird. Listen, it's one thing to be like, listen, you should be thanking this platform. They give you the opportunity to do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, right? However, to go and say you're full-blown irritated by this lawsuit that has quite literally nothing to do with you is a little bit dramatic, to be honest, right? So I can see why Leah would be upset about that. But so far, she's only shown that these people spoke about her, but it doesn't mean that Andy put them up to it, right? Ali says, I mean, people in the Bravo world stay in each other's business. Exactly. That is what that's what I think as well, right? Like she hasn't yet proven that they were put up to this by Andy Cohen, right? And that's a huge burden of proof to put up there. And so Margaret Josephs from Housewives of New Jersey had told Page Six in the past that Leah was trying to, quote, assassinate Andy Cohen's character. And Leah's legal team says none of these women would have said a word without Andy Cohen's influence. And I gotta be honest, I'm not sure about that, right? I think a lot of these women are brown nosing because despite the fact that they're supposed to be rich on these shows or whatever, some of them need this money. They don't have that much else coming on outside of this, right? And that definitely does not apply to Lisa Vanderpump or Heather Dubrow or Kandi or whatever, but it does apply to some of these people, right? And some of them, they just want to continue to be in good with Andy and to show that they will never turn around against Bravo and bite the hand that feeds them. And so that's why I think they are speaking out and they're trying to show that their show is worth watching. They don't want the show to go off the air. They want to maintain their relevance, right? And so basically, now at this point, she is trying to prove retaliation for her original lawsuit. So some of the claims in Leah's original lawsuit against Andy Cohen were tossed out. However, this new evidence that she is putting out there could revive PK. So stay tuned. How do y'all think that this is going to turn out? You know, I'm not so sure, to be honest. I think the whole thing is eventually going to be tossed out. I'm not seeing anything thus far. I'm just saying. What does Sky say? Sky says, good morning, everyone. Does anyone know if Grace will be covering the leaked Tyler message? What are the leaked Tyler messages? Because we talked about Tyler yesterday, and he was responding to the leaked Caitlyn messages. Don't tell me he's stalking Carly's friends too, y'all. Please do not tell me that is what is going on. But by the way, I want to catch up on you guys' comments before I get into the next story, which is Amber clapping back at Ashley, okay? Jody says, I love Ontario, but once I got into Canada, I almost had to stay. The border control gave me the hardest time going back home to Ohio. I'm sorry, Jody. Listen, things are tense right now. They are tense. And I'm sorry you got caught in the crossfires of that. Kahara says, if Offset wouldn't get a dime from me with all the cheating that he's been accused of. Exactly. Only get my behind to kiss. And I agree. Honestly, the audacity that man has to do all of that and then to turn around and ask her for money, sick. I'm sorry. I see why women end up on Snap because the level of disrespect that it takes. And on top of that, Cardi caught criminal. Like, remember when Cardi was rocking those beautiful outfits to like the courthouse and stuff? She had caught those criminal charges. It was over Offset and his cheating. So you do all that to that woman, right? You put her career on hold with all your babies and whatnot, right? And then you turn around, you ruin her life, you cheat on her left and right, then you come and ask her for money. Oh my God. K-Car says it's the fact that he's pardoning rich people for not paying their fair share while simultaneously saying it's poor people's. That's true. To pay back students' loan while he's tanking the economy. And that's the thing, y'all. Listen, I don't know how y'all put that man up there twice. You got to talk to your neighbors about that. Tatiana says, have you tried Mary Ruth hair growth? The hair's really good product. Okay, I haven't. This sounds familiar, but I don't know too much about it. I'll have to look into it. Okay. Thank you so much for the tips, y'all. Like, I am on this journey and so far I'm having fun with it. I got to say, I'm going to get my braids put in next week because I'm about to go on vacation and y'all know vacation time is braid time. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Now, you guys, why don't we get into Kung Fu Portwood clapping back against her teen mom co-star Ashley Jones for dragging her and just chewing her up and spitting her out on social media the other day. For those who did not see, Ashley, she really let Amber have it. She said that Amber was a deadbeat. Amber was nothing but a troll, her daughter's online bully who never leaves her couch. And so Amber, for the first time in I cannot even tell you how long, decided to get her behind off the couch to film a video to respond to Ashley. Take a look, you guys. I'm going to be sharing your comments from the live chat on the screen. So go ahead, continue sending them. And if you're watching the playback as part of my playback posse, we'll get to you in the comment section, okay? Here goes.
Love bug. That's crazy how things get around. I'm good, sweetie. Amber, I'm doing real good, hun. Just thought I would say hi to you guys from the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is from the couch, you know? Over here just doing some things. My friend is over here working on the boat. Yeah, we're having a good time, guys. Yeah, heard a lot. Heard a lot today, guys. Heard a lot. But not too much because it was from wouldn't tell me too much. Angel, hi babe. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, I didn't even put one up there. Thank you. They are haters for real. Amber, oh my gosh. What is going on? You guys, I haven't talked about anybody on this show, but everybody's got something to say about me, which is the craziest thing. You're gonna make me look crazy. Come on here, talk to my mamas and my friends and my sweethearts and look crazy like this. I'm trying to relax, you guys. I'm living rent-free in their heads all day, apparently. Let them yap. Exactly. Even Kate, I felt like overstepped. Listen, me, Kate, we talked at least. That's what we do. Remember I told you guys it was different the other day. Me, Kate, Mace, we usually will text each other, something like that. Listen to
So there you go, you guys. Amber, she honestly, that one hit her hard because the fact that she full blown went outside, and y'all know that is something that Amber does not like to do, but she went outside because of that one video. When she's been, hit with these jokes for years, like that lets you know just how hard this hit her this time around, that she actually full blown went to, where did she go? To her backyard. That's the thing I do not understand about some of these people. It's the fact that they've got all this money, they've got all this time, right? And they don't do anything and they don't go anywhere. And Amber especially, because here's the thing, Amber does not have children to be taken care of, right? Like the custody of her children are with their respective fathers. So this woman could be, I don't know, earning a degree. She could be working some kind of traditional job or a part-time job. She could be learning new languages. She could be picking up hobbies, playing tennis, pickleball, golfing, something, learning how to play an instrument. There's so many things this woman can be doing, being part of a run club, going to the gym, doing something, anything. And she just chooses to do nothing day in and free range, day in and day out. Like, how crazy is that? Like, I feel like if I had that kind of money and freedom, oh my God, I would just be out there doing anything and everything, passing the time in complete bliss, but all she does is just sit out there, bully her daughter on TikTok, right? Deny her daughter's trauma. And then on top of that, she lip syncs or whatever to like these random songs. And then I think she was talking about, she was studying something online, but that lasted a month or two or something like that. And then she was trying to learn like this language, but it wasn't even a language that people really, what was it? Pig Latin? Or was it like Old Latin or something like that? I'm so fascinated by it. Golden Soul says, Amber went outside just to turn around and go back to the couch when she was finished. You know it. She did not go far. That woman was in her own backyard. She wasn't like, I'm so fascinated by it. She could be like Gary, right? Gary, he's like, canning his tomatoes or selling his tomatoes, his eggs at a farmer's market, something, do something, anything, right? And I feel like that would do wonders for her mental health as well, right? And, to Tatiana's point, which is, what is she going to do with her money? It does not look like her time on the show is all that cemented, right? I think that for Amber, especially with her not having custody of these children, Leah not being on speaking terms, I think if we are to continue with another season of Teen Mom Next Chapter, she might be out. She might be replaced with somebody else. So what is she going to do for money without any kind of job history, without any kind of discernible skills? I know she tried to launch her online boutique or whatever, but that didn't pan out either, right? So I really, really hope that she kind of, sees the writing on the wall. It is fantastic that she bought her home 100% cash, right? So that's really good. Her expenses are what? Maybe HOA if it's a gated community, definitely property tax, but that's relatively low compared to, how much she's been making and whatnot, but she's still going to need to bring in some kind of money, right? So I think she needs to think a little bit harder about what to do for this next chapter, pun intended, of her life, because this is not looking good. It's not, right? And like you guys say, in this video and in the majority of the content that she puts out there, she seems to be a little bit off, right? So I hope that that's something that she's able to kind of manage, get in check moving forward as well, because for now, it's feasible for her to sit around at home all day and whatnot because she is bringing in that teen mom money. Wouldn't it be, especially because Isaac from Teen Mom 2, he does these reaction videos in sign language because that's his passion, sign language. Like he did Joe telling Kale that it's a beautiful day, but she doesn't deserve to enjoy it. She should be in a cave. Can you imagine Leah reacting to this sort of thing? Oh my goodness gracious, right? So I don't know. Honestly, listen, Amber's not my favorite person, but I really do hope that she is playing smart with her money. Put it somewhere so that you will be okay when the show ends, because the writing is on the wall. It's not lasting that much longer. You guys were cutting up in the comments section, by the way, of this. And listen, I follow Teen Mom Shade Room and I love Teen Mom Shade Room. So shout out to them for the video. It says that I don't follow them here because I was looking on my burner account. Y'all know, ladies, y'all know sometimes you need to have a burner account to check some things out. So that's what I was logged into on my desktop. So anyway, y'all were cutting up in the comments. Somebody said, shout out to Ashley for getting Amber off the couch. Indeed. Someone else said she off that couch. LMAO. That ish hurt her feelings. I don't care. Somebody else said Ashley got her off the couch. Ashley 1, Amber 0. And then the final comment said that y'all know Amber went straight back in the house. And listen, these comments exactly mirror exactly what it is that you guys say. We've been watching Amber on this show for 16, 17 years. We know she's not staying outside for long. We already know that, right? So God bless. Amber, please get it together, girl. And my favorite part of Ashley dragging her was when Ashley, what did Ashley say that was so funny to me? Ashley said, oh, you need to start seeing an adult psychiatrist. You got to stop seeing a child psychiatrist. When are you going to see a psychiatrist for adults? You're pushing 40 or something like that. That was too damn funny. Honestly, shout out to you, Ashley, for getting this woman off of the couch. Now, listen, we're going to do some back-to-back Teen Mom stories because I know how y'all love to get them all there together. And I think there's someone in here named Crystal something. Crystal, are you still here, boo? Listen, do you hear me typing? Because those are your timestamps. Because Crystal's always on me for not putting the timestamps. What I typically like to do is break up the videos and re-upload them individually because I get distracted by all the things happening at the same time when I'm streaming live. But for you, Crystal Boop, I'm putting the timestamps, okay? By the way, you guys, if you find yourselves enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you enjoy my content, and subscribe so you could be able to comment as well, because this feed is subscriber only, okay? So next up in the Teen Mom universe, we are going to talk about Javi Marroquin and his long-suffering now wife, Lauren Como. The two of them, they moved to Virginia Beach. Listen, this is one woman I will never understand. I still do not get it. What is it about Javi that makes you want, anyway, they got married and they've moved to Virginia Beach, right? For his military stuff. He's been posted over there. And the U.S. Sun managed to get some information on their new home. So take a look at it. This is their new home. It's not all of this. It's not like this massive mansion, right? However, it's one of these. It's a row house over there in Virginia Beach. And according to property records, they paid $570,000 for a 1,983 square foot home. And they actually just purchased it 2 weeks ago on May 15th. The townhome has a fully tiled first floor with a large bedroom that has access to a full bathroom and private patio. And it's also in a really good location, just a couple of steps away from restaurants, the beach, shopping as well. And so I think that's probably the biggest kind of selling point to them all. I would love as well to be next to a beach or something like that within walking distance. That is absolutely incredible. And both of their names are listed on the deed. Thank God. And I gotta say, listen, to me, it's crazy how expensive this row house is, considering the size of the homes that they were purchasing in Delaware. In Delaware, Javi, when he was with Kale, then when he was with Lauren at first, they were purchasing these big homes for the 200K region, right? 250K. And they were buying these huge homes with these huge gardens and whatnot, right? They were living it up. So it is really crazy how all of that kind of changes depending on the location, right? And they had so much land as well for the kids to run around, play soccer, for them to have a pool, all of this cool stuff, right? But now they get a full blown beach. So that's exciting. And now they get to be able to walk to restaurants and whatnot. I gotta be honest, like being able to live in a townhouse, steps away from like center town or whatever, and all these amenities and whatnot, I think it's a pretty fair trade-off, right? I think that you still have a backyard. It might not be as massive as a backyard with a single family home. However, I think even for the kids socially and whatnot, like this might be something that's like cool for this new chapter of them. It's something that they're not used to. And so it must be really exciting for them to be able to kind of like try this new kind of lifestyle out. Michelle says it's a ripoff though. Listen, I gotta say, I'm shocked, y'all. I am shocked based off of what they were getting in Delaware. And Lex says, I don't know why he doesn't live on a base for free if he has to. Well, that's the thing. Lauren had addressed this when they first announced their marriage or whatever. I forgot exactly what the reasoning was, but that is something that came up. And she said, she explained it all. I'll have to go back and find the video on it, because I do know that I did slice it up after doing a morning report, but this would have been, when did they get married? About a month ago or something like that? I'll have to go back and find that information for you guys. I can't remember the details as to why. Maybe they gave them like a credit towards the down payment of this or something. Well, actually, don't military people get to purchase properties without a down payment? Like, isn't that like a perk? Maybe they got access to that or something. I'm not sure, right? Kate says, I moved from the boonies to a small lake town nearby and my kids love it. How amazing to live on a lake. Isn't that incredible? I have this one friend who lives on a lake with a boat. And then they've built this like beautiful garden. They've got ducks, chickens, dogs. Like that to me seems like paradise right now. So I think that's a really, really beautiful, cool, exciting move. Allie says, Grace, this is exactly how the U.S. real estate is. I could live in Indiana, but gross and have a big house, right? Like, it's so crazy how like location changes everything, right? Yes, no down payment for them. So maybe that was the big thing, right? To be able to purchase a house of that size. Now, I kind of want to circle back, you guys. Listen, sometimes I ask you questions and then maybe you respond to me and I don't see your response or something. So sorry that I have to ask twice sometimes, because Sky and somebody else had brought up Tyler's messages being leaked. I am currently not aware of this. So like on this side, I'm like looking around trying to see if I can get information on it. But this is not something I'm aware of. So apparently his messages are worse than what Caitlyn was sending. Oh God. Oh God. And you know, it's so crazy because when I was doing the story about Caitlyn and her inappropriate messages, right, to the person she thought was a minor, I said, listen, this is not smart, but thank God, right? Thank God that at least they were smart enough not to have Tyler sending these messages to a minor. And now y'all are telling me that they weren't smart enough not to have Tyler sending those messages. Y'all, we might need to do some kind of emergency live stream after this when I manage to track down these text messages, because that is absolutely insane. I've got to say that I'm incredibly disappointed to hear that that might have been the case. Like, I'm rooting for you guys. I've been rooting for y'all. What are you doing? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, why don't we get into our next story? And by the way, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for putting me on game. I had no clue about that. Why don't we talk about the town strangler, Nathan? Honestly, every time I talk about Nathan, I get so pissed off because the leniency that he has been shown is just so ridiculous to me. It's a complete and utter disregard to the safety and the lives of the women he's already gotten physical with and the women that he will eventually get physical with, because the law has no interest in actually keeping him behind bars and protecting the women of Nevada. Anyway, guards, bring him out. We're going to talk about him. Yup, that one. So let's talk about it, you guys. Okay, I have an update on Nathan's Griffith sentencing and everybody who was there. So in this photo, you see him with his most recent girlfriend, Anastasia. Mind you, they are broken up now, thank God, because of his strangling ways. So Nathan was sentenced to 14 to 48 months in Nevada prison for 2 DV arrests involving strangulation. And he had a whole bunch of ladies in the courtroom for him. which was kind of interesting. So his ex-wife showed up, and mind you, his ex-wife was sharing on Instagram like a bouquet of flowers that she received from him, and he sent them to her with a message that said something to the effect of, "From your husband." People didn't even know you were married, dude, because you've been having girlfriend after girlfriend after girlfriend. Anastasia is like his second girlfriend in like 2 years, right? And yet you have a wife this whole time too. Like the whole thing is absolutely insane to me. But she was there to support him. She, like, what do you call it when somebody is married to somebody, but they don't mind that the other person's like sleeping around with other people, has relationships, is living with it? Like, what is this? Is this an open marriage? Like, what is this? I am so confused. Even Brianna is shocked that this man is married. Isn't it crazy? Like, what is this? Is his girlfriend like a cook? Like, what is this, y'all? I'm genuinely trying to understand what this dynamic is, why she's accepting of it. Listen, we know that she's from Argentina or Venezuela or something like that. So I don't know, like, if she's just trying to hang on to a marriage for a couple of years because it's going to help her with immigration or something. I do not know, but I digress. So she was there. His 21-year-old ex-girlfriend was there. And I think that is in reference to Anastasia, right? And his sister was there as well. And they were all past victims of his. The judge said that she was done giving Nathan chances and specifically told Nathan, and I quote, "You are a danger to others and you are going to kill someone." And as his sentence was being read, Nathan was crying. His attorney was so desperately trying everything he could to keep Nathan out of prison. He cited Nathan's military service, his PTSD, his traumatic brain injury, but the judge said that they've had already tried to rehab for Nathan, halfway houses for Nathan, and various other forms of leniency. But at this point, it's too much. He is too dangerous, that she is going to give him the maximum of what it is that she is capable of giving him. And so there you go. So Nathan is going to start out his sentence in Clark County detention, and then he will possibly transfer later on to the Nellis Federal Prison Camp. So this is something I do not understand, though. How is it possible that you get 14 to 48 months? Is it that after 14 months, if you are behaving yourself behind bars or whatever, you get to go out instead of serving the rest to make it up to 48? I'm not exactly sure, but that's basically what it is. And he's serving this for the 2 strangulations. Isn't that crazy? 2 strangulations, and all you get is a couple months behind bars. 14 months. Absolutely insane. Truly, this is why, listen, you know, when it comes to the Chrisleys, this and that, and their big things, I'm like, you know what, like, strangling to me is just a whole other level, right? And to do this to like 4 or 5, you know, however many different people, like, that's crazy. It's crazy that this is all you get. Ronnie always has her foot on y'all's necks, and I love it. Ronnie says almost 250 in the chat, guys. Let's get the likes up on this video. Show Grace some love for the weekend. Thank you, Ronnie. If you guys are enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. By the way, if you're new here, we do go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest stories. And y'all, I'm still scheming. I wanted to let y'all know I'm still scheming on another live show to launch, because there's so many people who pop in from Australia from time to time. And then I realized, listen, my time difference with you guys in Australia is not terrible. So why aren't I doing shows that are even earlier so that I can have, like, more Australians in the chat as well? So that's going to be coming up maybe in July. Okay, you guys, stay tuned for that. Now, why don't we get into Mackenzie's health update? Mackenzie McKee from Teen Mom Next Chapter is currently pregnant with twins. And this story makes me really sad, because Mackenzie did not want to be pregnant, right? And she especially did not want to be pregnant with twins. However, her boyfriend, or should I say fiance, Casanio, kept on insisting on her getting pregnant. He wanted to have his own children with Mackenzie. And so eventually she relented, and they went through IVF in order to conceive these children, right? And they are currently threatening her life and her health which is something that we all knew would happen. And the thing that makes me so sick about this is when she told Cassandra, you know, physically it's going to be dangerous for me. Mentally, I was suicidal the last time I was pregnant. Like, it was rough on me. And all he said was, oh, it's okay. Like, I'll think positive thoughts with you. Like, we just have to be positive. The fact that she didn't throw a shoe at his face over that and just like say absolutely not, take it or leave it, is still so baffling to me. To do all of this for a glorified boyfriend is so insane to me, but I digress. I'm pissed. I am so pissed that she is even in danger, that she's even suffering for this at all. Like, it is so selfish. This man is so selfish to do this to her, right? So as you guys are aware, we talked about this in yesterday's morning report, how the night prior, she had been rushed to the emergency room with symptoms of preeclampsia, and she was also diagnosed with it. But then she decided to go home and then see her own doctor the next day because of something to do with insurance. It was too costly to stay the night in the emergency room, right? And so this is her update. So shout out to my channel members. This is something that we were talking about in our channel membership section yesterday. Here it is. Mackenzie wrote, and I quote, update, I do have preeclampsia, but not bad enough for them to schedule C-section. My blood pressure was 153. There is protein in my urine. They wanted above 160. I've gained 20 pounds in 48 hours in swelling alone, and my body has rapidly declined. But oddly, I'm being told, you're fine. We need you to carry them longer. It's been a long few weeks full of a lot of pain and tears. Mostly, I feel like I'm being ignored. I can no longer walk, and I haven't slept in weeks due to contractions. Just pray for me and babies. Mentally, I am not okay. This is so, so, so sad. I hate that she went through this against her better judgment. She knew how much she suffered with her last pregnancies. And she was practically begging this man to have some mercy on her. Like, dude, this stuff just does not interact well with my body. It is terrible. It is dangerous. Mentally, I wanna end it all when I'm pregnant. And this man still pushed for it. Like, that is just so sickening to me. It really is, right? Ronnie says, I've been praying for her nonstop. And I really hope that everything turns out well for her. Like, this is a very, very, very serious situation. It is, right? Like, she's got type 1 diabetes. And even to get pregnant, it was hard for her to get her levels to an appropriate place where it would be somewhat safe for her to get pregnant. Ramster says, this guy putting his woman's life on the line, that's not love. And I agree. That is incredibly, incredibly selfish. And mind you, she also said, oh, I don't want to like get pregnant without being married. So what does he do? He gives her a shut up ring, doesn't even marry her. And here she is, knocked up for her boyfriend. Oh God, Mackenzie girl, Mackenzie. And thanks, Bree. Yes, you guys, if you're enjoying, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Acacia says, just think, what if they don't work out? They are not even married. I'm telling you, like, why? I feel like, why didn't they? I don't know. It just makes me so sad. Like, says, not even a husband. Why do these women have children for boyfriends? They always dip after the baby is born. Exactly. And she already has 3 kids with a deadbeat who only is barely in contact with 1 out of those 3 kids. So given how dangerous the situation is, given how terribly this is going for her, if something, God forbid, were to happen to her, what would happen to her children, right? And then she only has her father left. And her father has his own issues, right? With like the heart attacks and whatnot. Like, this was a really, really, really careless decision. Ramster says, and Mac putting her life on the line for some random man, risking making her kids motherless, right? Nikki says, this is why I'll always be pro-choice, because no one cares about the health of the mother as long as the baby is born. Preach it. How sad is that? Hey, YouTube addict. Nice to see you and your cute, cozy doggies. Oh, they're so cute. Acacia says, just think what she's complaining about is what so many Black women deal with when it comes to healthcare, right? And that's with Mackenzie saying, look, these levels, the numbers do not lie. This is not a safe pregnancy. Please deliver my babies. I am feeling terrible and I am feeling heard, right? Black women, or maybe as Mackenzie would call them or call us, colored women. Jay says this could go very bad. It can. I've heard so many stories from you guys since we started talking about this story of Mackenzie and her extreme preeclampsia. Some of you guys have spoken about people who've lost their babies while they were battling preeclampsia or their own lives. Like, this is very, very serious. We hear about it often when it comes to pregnancy, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean it's normal or that it's not a huge deal. It is a very, very huge deal. Julie says, get those babies out. I'm sure she's at the mark. She can get them out. Very scary stuff. Like, I'm kind of holding my breath at this point for her. I really, really do hope that something can be done here. I know she's on bed rest or whatever, but this sounds really rough. She's not sleeping, right? And that's not healthy for her or the babies to not be sleeping over several weeks, right? And even if you're on bed rest, you need to get up and go to the washroom, and that is a difficult task for her as well, right? Cammy says they would go to Josh if she passed away. And that already, right? Josh does not care for the children they already have, right? Those 3 children. So the fact that all of a sudden they would be uprooted and sent back to him, that is not fair. It is not fair at all. Good luck, Mac. This is a very scary and a very sad situation. Speaking of scary and sad situations, why don't we get into Cardi B and Offset, y'all? You know, I just do not understand this. This feels like another case of somebody like, and you see this a lot with like rising stars, right? When they're at their prime or whatever, all of a sudden, a guy who's not doing as well as she's doing is gonna, boom, knock her up and marry her and throw her off course. And this is something we saw happen with Cardi B. This is something that we saw happen with Halle Bailey. She didn't get married to the guy, but he knocked her up in her prime of her career with the Little Mermaid success. Keke Palmer was doing really well. Same thing. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these guys they just want to like hitch their wagon to someone who's doing so damn well. And Cardi B, she really was that girl. She was this breakout success in the rap world, winning her Grammys and everything. And then she kind of gave it all up for him and a family life with him, which is fine, right? But the thing that makes me so sad is that he couldn't support her and keep her in a good home environment where she feels happy and secure and whatnot. No, this man who scored this fantastic prize, right? This fantastic, beautiful, successful woman who is such a good and present mother to their children. What does he decide to do? He decides to cheat on her left, right, and center, have her looking crazy in the streets, have her looking crazy on social media. And it had gone on for years. She kept on forgiving this man affair after affair after affair until she couldn't anymore. In fact, she even caught a criminal charge for this man, right? Going after some of his mistresses. And she just finally had enough and decided to walk away. And now this man who blew up their marriage, blew up their home life, stalled her career, he's now coming after her with his hand out, asking for some of her money. Cardi had filed for divorce in August of 2024, and we hadn't heard any movement in that divorce situation. I got to be honest with y'all. At first, when I heard that she filed for divorce, I thought it was just like a publicity stunt, because this is not the first time that she's filed for divorce from this man, right? Like, she's been doing it on and off for a while, or at least threatening to. And hearing that like nothing had really gone, moved forward since almost a year now, I kind of thought it was all just, just divorce on paper, but not officially divorce. But now here comes Offset. Apparently his money's looking kind of funny because he wants a piece of the Cardi B pie. Cardi B is reportedly worth between $80 million to $100 million, which is a lot of money, right? And Offset is reportedly worth about $30 million. It's less than Cardi B, but it is still more than enough money to live a good, rich, lavish life. So why turn around and ask this woman for her money, especially when you are the reason why your marriage did not work out? In fact, I actually think that if you have some sort of an affair or whatever in your marriage and you cause for it to end, I personally think that you should be fined. I think that you should be the one forced to pay up, right? So to me, this is just so disrespectful on a whole other level, right? I am so pissed for Cardi B that this is even the case. She has given up so much for him and their family just for him to disrespect her with multiple women and now disrespect for her in the courts demanding money from her. Like, that is just the selfishness truly knows no bounds. I saw some of y'all leaving some some comments a little bit earlier about this. I want to get back to them. Kahara had said that Offset wouldn't get a dime from me with all the cheating that he's been accused of. He would only get my behind to kiss, period. Right? Absolutely. Chocolate Drop says Cardi's stupid for no prenup. But you know what? I think at the time when they were coming up, they were both on the same level. And Migos, they had that huge song, Bad and Bougie. She had her big song, Bodak Yellow. So maybe at the time it didn't make sense to her because they were both like on that same level. But the way that she has just catapulted way past him and everything has been absolutely insane. I know she absolutely regrets it. And here's the thing, Chocolate Drop, and everybody else watching. I think Offset, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he already cheating on her prior to the marriage too? Like, so yeah, I feel like at that case, even if you guys are on equal footing financially, maybe it would have been worth it to go ahead and get some sort of a prenup, right? At least a prenup with a cheating clause or something like that. So he would be the one having to pay up. Just saying. Now, hey, Lotus Flower, nice to see you, boo. Nikki says, sorry, my throat's getting scratchy. Nikki says, now I know for sure that Offset is the reason why Migos broke up. He is the problem. Truly, right? He thought because he had Cardi B, he was going to be this big star. Nope. Where's his music now? Just asking, right? Ramster's wondering why these ladies let these men throw them off when they're at their prime, at the top of their game. Good question. Bobby says, my opinion, if affairs and abuse are involved, no money given. I agree. In fact, the person who is perpetuating these things, the affair or the ABUSC, they should be paying like maybe even in blood. You gotta, I don't know, something like give me everything. Go for broke. Good morning, Tyrell. Nice to see you, boo. Ramster says, sorry, not sorry, but don't put your money or love or kids on the line for a man with a face tattoo. Oh my God. Truer words have never been spoken. I'm telling you. Offset, Cardi B. I wish she waited and enjoyed herself a little bit and then found somebody better. Because this guy, I think he was always jealous of her. Like his energy is all wrong. Even in this photo, like his energy is just wrong. It's giving jealous. AG says Migos helped with her career. You know what? Maybe a little bit like having somebody in the industry, but I think that she always was going to catapult to an extreme level of fame because of her social media and her charisma, right? People, even more so than the music, love her personality. And that's why she's still relevant all this time later, because she's funny, she's hilarious, she's creative, she's out there, she's bold. And so I think she was always going to be huge, but it does help to be with somebody from the industry. I just wish it was somebody else, not this guy. Please, anybody but this guy. Jalisa says, this is why I think marriage is overrated. My friend is dealing with the same BS in her divorce. Honestly, it's so tough. It really feels sometimes like there's no right way. Like no matter which end or direction you go, you still can get screwed. You know what's going viral? Speaking of marriage being overrated or just anything, Jalisa, and everybody watching. I don't even really know this girl, but like her divorce or whatever is playing out heavily on my TikTok timeline, Wizard Liz or something like that. And how she was like married to this guy and she's like 4 months pregnant. And this guy is trying to like flirt with girls on Snapchat and like meet up with them. And the girl goes, aren't you married? He goes, no, like it's not real. It's just for social media. Meanwhile, he's truly married to that woman and she's 4 months pregnant with his child. I think the problem is just men. Whether you're married to them or a baby mama to them or a friend, like the problem is just men at the end of the day. So be careful, no matter what capacity your relationship is with one of them, keep your eye open, keep your eye peeled. AG says, Grace, do you watch the Ace Family? Did you see the tea about them? No. I heard that I do know about certain scandals involving them, but I don't know what the latest is. Please spill, AG. Nikki says, what is really messed up is that she's not asking him for ish, but a divorce. Exactly. She has the kids. Why would he pay her? Exactly. And he even in his filing said, yes, she can have the kids as, you know, they can have her house as the principal resident and stuff. I want joint custody, but she's the main parent. And you're here with your hand out. He pisses me off so bad. He really does. I cannot stand this man. I really can't. Like, he's sick in the head. And you know what pisses me off too? I don't know if you guys remember this, but there's a moment when they were arguing, right? And she was just so pissed off at him. And this guy, to get under her skin, you know what he says to her? He says, yeah, well, you're my baby mama, so I won. So you could really tell this whole time this man was jealous. He knows that she is the bee's knees, and he is lucky to be connected with her, you know, through their children. And that is something that he chooses to throw in her face. Isn't that sick? Oh my God. Jalissa, you're up to date on this. Guys, please spill the tea. What is going on with the Ace family? I remember this really like nasty scandal involving them that I won't even repeat because it was just really, really disturbing. But that was years ago. Nikki says, Rihanna, yup. And I agree. Listen, when you're a billionaire like Rihanna, I've got to do it in my Nikki voice. Don't do it. Don't do it. And Ramster says, men are the problem. Women are the enablers. Womp, womp, womp. Honestly, it's really sad. It really is. It just, sometimes it feels like it's almost impossible to find like the right formula, to find like, you know, the needle in the haystack, right? Because so many are problematic. Lotus says men will date women they are jealous of, then punish and embarrass them for being successful. And you see that so often, unfortunately, right? So I think that's the case here. I think it was the case with DDG and Hallie. I think it was the case with Keke Palmer and her. Man, I think it's the case with who else? Like, there's just so many, right? Like, and it just makes me so sad. Like, how? Like, that is just so sad. Why would you do that? Why? You know, it's just so hard to wrap your mind around this kind of psychology sometimes, right? Like, it's like, how? I just genuinely do not understand, but I digress. I hate her. You got to be careful. Sometimes, you know, you got your enemy in your house, like your biggest op is in your sheets. Hey, Nikki, we were just talking about you guys in Australia and how I need to launch like a show that goes on a little bit earlier so I can have you guys at a good time. As Zoe says, but Cardi will scream from the rooftops that he is a great father. You know, one thing, I just know she's embarrassed. The way that she used to ride for that man, there's something that is so nasty. So if you're eating, please block your ears for a second. Are they blocked? There's something that just makes me so disgusted every time I think about this story. And it's this time where people were like, Cardi, leave him. He's cheating. He's trash. What does she do? She said, I'm never leaving him. And this man, and it's so nasty. I'm sorry to even tell this story. It's nasty, but I got to get it out because it's in my brain now. She picks his scab and she ate it. She was like, I love this man. I love every part of him. Scab. Like, you did all that for a man that was cheating on you? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy, right? I just know she regrets it all. Who wouldn't, right? But love makes you do and say crazy things. Hey, White Island. Yes, we did talk about this. He's lying. He says they were just joking around, but nope. I think that girl meant it. And it's really sad. That man's been a victim his whole life, groomed from the age of 14, 15. And now we find out that not only is she like actually ABUSIVE, but also physically sad. Truly, truly sad. So I'm seeing you guys are saying that the Ace family says that the lady is in some kind of a cult. So that part I did see. But I don't know if I trust that man. Isn't that man like a pathological liar? I don't know. Do y'all trust it? Do y'all believe it? Let me know. Meanwhile, we are on our final story of the day, which is the Diddy of it all, Demon Diddy. I have a little bit of an update from his court case yesterday, and I wanted to share it with you guys. There's some things that I think will be rather interesting to you. Guards, please. The inmate. So there you go. So Diddy, basically, there are two people who took the stand yesterday to testify. One of them was his ex-assistant who was testifying anonymously under the name Mia. And she detailed a lot of very horrific things that she allegedly suffered at the hands of Diddy as his former assistant. She said that Diddy used to have her working 5 days straight with no rest, and she would be surviving on Adderall so that she could stay up for those 5 days. And during one of those stints like that, she had this huge breakdown, crying hysterically, uncontrollably, just because of just, obviously with no sleep, you're going to short circuit, right? Eventually. And then there's a story that really pissed me off, right? As a woman, especially, that already is really upsetting. But there's this story, and ladies, listen, if you've ever had like a period mishap, right? But she talks about this one time where she was on her period, right? And she had a tampon in, and she felt like she needed to change it, right? And Diddy would not let her. And she was in this big meeting with so many people, and she needed to go. And he said, nope, we're going to finish this meeting. And then from this meeting, we're going to bounce to here to here. So that's what it was. It was back-to-back meetings. And she really needed to change it. And she felt it more and more and more. And then before she knew it, she had blood dripping from her legs. Can you imagine that, you guys, being put in that kind of a position by your job? And then after that, he had the nerve to turn around and publicly humiliate her over it. And that wasn't it. She said that there was also a moment where he threw a bowl of spaghetti at her. He threw a laptop at her head because of Wi-Fi issues. He allegedly SA'd her multiple times in his home. And then she talked about some things that Diddy had allegedly done to Cassie as well. So some of them included forcing Cassie and them into freak-offs with escorts, even while Cassie was menstruating. So imagine that. You are exhausted, you are sore, you are going through it, and this demon still has you boning escorts. Like, that is just sick. And so she was talking about having to clean up these hotel rooms and all the blood and everything, right? The wax, the baby oil from everywhere, because that was one of her jobs as his assistant, to clean things up before housekeeping was there, because he did not want for housekeeping to be able to sell photos to TMZ, which is just, wow. I wonder if she even got like proper protection. When you're dealing with bodily fluids and stuff like that, you need proper protection. Sickening. And so there was a story about a Prince party. So the singer Prince was hosting a party once, and Diddy could not attend because he needed to spend time with his children. So he was at home with the kids, and he did not want for Cassie to attend this party either. He didn't like for Cassie to attend high-end parties with a bunch of celebrities without him, because he was worried she'd leave him for a bigger fish, right? And so this assistant, quote unquote, Mia and Cassie, they decided to sneak over to that party without Diddy's permission. And Diddy, as jealous as he was, somehow he caught wind of this, or he suspected it. He showed up to that party, locked eyes with Cassie, and Cassie bolted it. She said, oh crap. And she ran out of that house trying to get out of there, and Diddy chased her. And then he tried to attack her when Prince's security intervened. And the next day, Diddy suspended Mia without pay for being insubordinate by going to that party with Cassie. The stories that have been coming out about this have been just so insane. It almost feels like some kind of like a movie, right? Like, what do you mean? Like, he randomly showed up to this Prince party and he was supposed to be home with his children. Then he sees Cassie, chases her into the bushes, and then Prince's security comes and intervenes. Like, you cannot make this stuff out. And this is one of the least shocking or least surprising things there, right? Like, it's all just so insane. Back to the Cardi story. East Austin says Cardi likes a bad boy. Wasn't her ex a jail inmate? Yup. That's the thing. Maybe that's the issue sometimes, right? Some people need to reevaluate their type. But listen, even the quote unquote nice guys, or even the quote unquote nerds or whatever, they'll get you too. Like, honestly, no one's safe. No one's safe. And thank you, Gail. It is a dress from Motivi that I picked up when I was in Palermo. I did this weekend trip to Italy once, actually a couple of times, and I picked up this cute little dress. So thank you so much. I'm hearing that there's going to be a press conference for the Chrisleys at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. If you guys are interested in seeing what they have to say, I just know the whole family is going to be wearing their MAGA hats and practically kissing Donald Trump's feet. Maybe even Donald Trump will be there. You really never know. Malen says, have you seen Mini Diddy has revealed me? Oh God, are you kidding me? That is so sick. the fact that they could sit in this courtroom, hear about how demonic their father is, right, from various people, and he still would go and do this and act like his father is a victim to this chick, like that is insane. Listen, ladies, if you're single, avoid Demon Diddy's offspring. I'm sorry, but especially the men, especially the boys, be careful, because look at that. That is sick. Hey, Ashley, nice to see you, boo. Diddy says, East also says, Diddy is a monster. The defense selected 2 amazing witnesses in Nash and Mia. Thank you. Nash was also on the stand yesterday, Deontay Nash. And Deontay is a celebrity stylist who worked for Cassie and Diddy and said that he saw Diddy use X tapes to threaten Cassie's singing career. So there's another one for team Why Didn't She Lead? She was stalked, she was chased, she was beat, and on top of that, she was blackmailed. And so I think the feds are doing an incredible job of proving these RICO charges. I do have to tell you, and this is something that we talk about. Somebody else brought this up in yesterday's morning report, but TMZ, go and read their article today, from yesterday, recapping what went down in court. The way they are trying to plant doubt in the public's mind is so sickening. They are writing so hard for this man, and it's sick. East Dawson says, Diddy is a monster. The defense selected 2 amazing witnesses in Nash and Mia. They were so believable and authentic. Diddy abuses everyone. It's not DV. This is a psychopath and likely the leader. Exactly. This goes far beyond Cassie and freak-offs or whatever. This is the 2nd or 3rd assistant who has testified to horrific things, being subjected to horrific things by this man. His musical artists, like everybody seemingly who's been in touch with this man, who is not like a bigger celebrity than him, has suffered. Where he says Diddy wanted the worst so he can abuse them. So sick. Right? Dead doll eyes Diddy, says Ramster. Bobby says he has Ted Bundy level narcissism. Had he not made it in the business, he'd be famous. Yup. He would have been some kind of like goon or, I shudder at the thought. Lotus says, period. The thing is so relatable because if you were in service industry or healthcare and you're understaffed, yes, you sneeze and you ink. Oh my God, that story reminded me of this traumatic moment, y'all. I was in uni and I was in like the library computer room or something like that. And at this time, because typically I know I'm going to get my period because I'll have like really bad cramps, right? But at this time I didn't. And on top of that, like mine is random. It comes at any time. So I really never know when it's going to happen unless I feel cramps a day or two before. And so I was in the library and y'all, I did not feel a thing. I was just working. And I was wearing my new like khaki pants, feeling so like professional. And I get up and I'm like, oh, Jesus. I had to call my sister. Thank God for sisters. And she came to like a school to bring me some new pants and stuff. I was mortified, right? Like, can you imagine? And even being a student, do y'all remember your student days? Because these start young, right? For the girls, like when do you start? Like 10, 11, 12 years old or something like that. And at that point, you're still not really all that great at managing it. So you can leave. Oh my God. And sometimes you ask the teacher to go to the bathroom. The teacher's like, no, but you got to go, right? Oh my God. So can you imagine that as an adult being subjected to that? Insane. East Awesome says, as of yesterday, Diddy's only way out is by purchasing a pardon through the King Don. Realistically, Don could commute Diddy's RICO. Effectively, Diddy would remain guilty, but be released for time served. Oh my goodness. But here's the thing, like RICO, don't those carry like decades in jail or life? He's only served like a year, right? Is that what's happening with Big Meech or Larry Hoover or whatever that is? Because Donald gave him a pardon, but he's still locked up. So I'm kind of curious about what the details are on that. And mind you, East Awesome, you should take a look at the TMZ articles recapping yesterday, because the way they're trying to plant doubt and act like the prosecution isn't doing anything and it's a weak case, it really made my blood boil. Lou says, how many people let this happen? That's the thing, everybody kind of, because there are other people who have testified. Yesterday, there's someone testifying to having jumped in to help break things up, and Diddy whipped her off, threw her against a wall, and then he took another man, and she said that Diddy had his neck or something like that in a position where just one more move and he could have paralyzed this man or deleted this man. Like, I think people did as much as they could, but given the power imbalance, the financial imbalance, Diddy being connected to goons and whatnot, like there really wasn't much for people to do, unfortunately. Hey, Amy, nice to see you, boo. So nice to see you. AG says, Oh, Ramster, do not even remind me. It is terrible. Honestly, God bless us, ladies. I don't know how we do it. I really don't. AG says one thing about SA and S trafficking is celebrities do it all the way down to the regular guy that exploits these women and men. And, you know, that's why I'm so grateful for this, like, Me Too era that started in, I believe, 2015, 2016 to really open the door, because it is true. These casting couches and stuff, like, it used to be such a normalized thing. And now, ever since the door has been completely open and people are coming out, swinging, naming names, you're really not hearing that much about that. Thank God. East Awesome says any federal case can be pardoned by the president of the United States. Diddy's case is federal RICO. Donald can have him labeled a felon and free him. Oh my God. And listen, I unfortunately do believe that that is what is going to end up happening. I do believe he will be convicted. However, I do worry because he's got the money. And we all know Donald Trump needs money, right? He's got the money to pay for a pardon. He's got a lot more money than Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were able to use money, right, and influence to be freed. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still sick. So that's why you see my little photo going up so I could rub my nose. But yeah, like, they have less money, less fame than Diddy, and they were able to get let out, right? By the way, look at this. Don't Todd and Savannah look like the exact same person here? He could not deny this girl if he tried. And lucky for him, that's his favorite one too. So he's probably extra tickled by that. And Diddy, listen, if Diddy were to be pardoned by Trump, he would be wearing that hat too. He would be singing his praises. He would be everywhere. So I'm sad. Honestly, why are we leaving off on this note? Damn it. Why are we leaving off on this note? It makes me sad. Listen, we got a brighter note. We've got Allie, who's been a member for 18 months. How the time flies. Thank you so much for being a loyal member, Allie. She says, hit that like button. 94 likes and 249 here. And now we're at 266. Y'all, it's an easy, simple, quick, and effective way to support the channel. If you're enjoying the morning report, please do not hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Thanks again, Allie. Thank you so much. Lotus says, Grace, you're spot on about the pardon. It's sad, honestly. I do not understand what kind of timeline we're in, y'all. I don't. I really don't. By the way, why don't we do this here? Thanks for asking, Ronnie. I'm going to pull it up. Teen Mom Books. Because my channel members and I, we read the Teen Mom books, okay? So we just finished reading Conquering Chaos by Caitlin and Tyler. Prior to that, we had read Kaylin's book and we had read Amber's book. And so now I want to ask you guys, what book do you want to read next? I kind of low-key want to read the Ashley's book, Teen Mom Confidential. There's also Bulletproof by Macy that I have here. And I also have we could also read Leah Messer's book, but that's something that I did in the past. It wasn't for channel members. I think I just did it like out in the open for everybody. But there's that. And there is, voila. So you guys, and there's also Mackenzie McKee, Straightening My Crown. So y'all let me know. And actually there's, you know, Farrah's mom, how she got catfished. She has a book about that. And then Matt Bayer, the guy who conned Amber, he also has a book. So y'all let me know what book you want to read next so that we can go ahead and continue with our reading, okay? By the way, East Awesome's comment made me laugh here. Savannah would be, I agree, she would be my favorite child too. The other daughter helped get them locked up and Savannah worked her butt off to free her parents, right? And she took a huge hit with her reputation for this. She was tireless. And on top of that, she was also taking care of the children while the parents were locked up, and she's only 25 years old, right? So you want to read Macy's book, Bulletproof? Okay, why don't we do that? Okay. Anybody? Okay, so, okay, we'll do that. I'll do an official poll just to check with everybody else, Ronnie, but I wouldn't mind getting into Macy's book as well, Bulletproof. Is there anything else that we're missing? That's everything that we have on the docket for today's stories. I know you guys were telling me that Tyler had some text messages that were leaked. I'm trying to find them, but I'm unable to find them at all. Okay, so I'm reading some comments on the Reddit page, and they say, someone said, paraphrasing, but Tyler basically said, it's weird how you guys are so afraid of disobeying your parents. What if they're wrong? That's scary. There's a whole big world out there that you shouldn't miss out on because of fear. You know, I really hope this is not true. I hope somebody is trolling. Somebody else said, I really hope the parents of those kids are all involved and very litigious. To which, okay. But I haven't seen actual screenshots, so I'm not able to say much. But that comment that somebody said, Tyler said, is sending shivers and chills down my spine. I really hope that it is not true. So you guys, what I'm going to do, listen, it's 5:19. It's a beautiful day. It's 30 degrees outside. I need to go outside, get my sun time. I also need to go to the gym. But I'm going to try to find these before I head out. And if I find them, I'm going to do another video about them. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of The Morning Report. Don't forget, we go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest stories. So I will be catching you guys again tomorrow. Janelle does have a book, but I don't see that in my folder. I'll have to go back and look. And it looks like Allie likes Bulletproof as well. Listen, I'm going to go back. And then keep an eye out. If you're a channel member, keep an eye out in our members tab. We're going to do the official poll so that we can get going on this book. We could start reading it even over the weekend if you want. Take care, you guys. Thank you so much for being here for another great episode of The Morning Report. Please make sure to go ahead and give it a like on your way out. And I'll see you again Monday at 10 a.m. EST. Enjoy your weekend, guys. TGIF.